Let's make one of the most popular of all Southwestern traditional dishes. It's called Chile Rellenos, and it's made with these green chilies that we'll stuff. And here, I just wanted to show you the way I stuff them is I just take this hole that, remember how I poked it with a knife? Actually, that served two purposes. Poking it allows the steam to come out, and it also provides a nice little place to tuck in these nice slender strips of Monterey Jack cheese. Now, there's any number of types of fillings that you can use. By the way, the word relleno in Spanish means stuffed. So you can stuff them with endless kinds of cheeses. There's so many different varieties. Cheddar's also a very popular one, and there's all the Mexican types of cheeses such as queso blanco and sajo and whatever. So let's just stuff some of these. Also, you're not limited to cheese. If for some reason you'd like to use another stuffing for variety, if nothing else, what you could do is you could stuff them with seafood. Like a real popular one is either the large colossal shrimp or the little babies. You could also use such things as seared vegetables are very good with lots and lots of garlic and herbs. Another thing that I like a lot is to use use like ground pork or ground beef that is made into what's called picadillo. Picadillo is a sort of a Texas dish that's it's sautéed pork or beef that's flavored with tomatoes and almonds and raisins and kind of a mincemeat taste, but it's very good in these green chilies. In fact, there's a dessert that's similar that's made at Christmas time when they take and put the whole thing in a pastry and call it an empanada. So we'll just get all these chilies stuffed. And actually, if there's a room for like stuffing a little bit of a piece, you can always break it off. And then once these are stuffed, what I want to do next is I'll drain them. Now, when I was a home economist and when I have done lots and lots of cooking schools and fielded many questions when I did book signings, it seems that people really do like chili rellenos. They tend to be a kind of an intriguing, almost mysterious dish, and they don't seem to figure out how you can get the batter to stick. Well, this is how you get the batter to stick. You drain them. But always remember, just to repeat, that you really should. It's a real important aspect to place the cheese or whatever stuffing you're using, to place it into the chili just as soon as you peel it, or well, just as soon as you can, because if you peel them and let them set, they'll dry out. And if you ever tried to stuff a raisin, it's pretty difficult, so you don't want to have to try to stuff something that's and see how this just dries up very quickly. So I'll just put these aside and get these well drained. And so that's one hint for making the batter cling, is to get them nice and drained and dry. There's one other hint, and that is to make the batter ahead of time. And the batter is quite easy to make. Actually, I created this batter myself, and I always have liked blue corn a lot, so I made it with blue corn because the traditional batter that's often used is made with a meringue, and it takes much longer to it just takes an awful lot longer to make because you have to be very careful of working the meringue into the egg yolk that has the flour and whatever to get a nice uniform consistency. Here I've added milk and egg white. Now, if I chose to, I could have used whole eggs. So what I'm going to do here is just beat this a little bit. Doesn't have to have a lot. That's probably enough. And then I'm going to add the rest of the dry ingredients. It's not a real fussy dish. It's just kind of a corn, almost like a cornbread mix. And here we've got the blue corn flour. And an interesting aspect about blue corn, in case you don't know it, blue corn is 100% balanced nutrition. It has all the vitamins, the minerals, and the essential amino acids. There goes baking powder and salt. And now we'll just finish mixing it. When you have everything measured out like this, it's very easy to make, but even so, it's not difficult at all. And all you want to do is just make sure you get the dry ingredients very uniformly blended together, and it just takes a few around the bowl motions, and it should be thick. In fact, this is always best if it's made about an hour before you're going to start the chili rellenos. So normally what I do, and this could stand a little more mixing, but I want to show you, it's about right now, I want to show you what the mixture looks like when I have made it an hour or so ahead. In fact, I like to call this New Mexico tempura batter because beyond chili rellenos, if you ever have any left, don't throw it out because it's really outrageous to save. You can save it in the refrigerator or the freezer, and then you can dip in different kinds of vegetables, shrimp, scallops, pieces of fish, whatever you'd use for tempura, and you deep fry it. You put it in this batter and then deep fry it and serve it with your favorite sauces. It's really kind of fun. But the batter should look like this. See, it kind of moves, but it's not real runny. If it's too runny, it won't hold on to the chilies and hold the cheese inside. And now with this nice thick batter, we're ready to fry the chili rellenos. So remember these that we had kind of drained? We'll just see they're nice and dry. See how they are. And if there's ever any spots that are still, you know, like a little wet, just be sure and dry them off. And now there's several hints for frying. The first one, of course, is having this nice thick batter. And then you'll want to have something to dip the batter out onto the, you know, sort of onto the chili with. See how thick this is? So what we'll use is, actually this is called a spoonula. So it's kind of a nice spatula that picks up the batter. And I want to point out that I'm holding the chili down on kind of the neck, if you will. Don't hold it by the stem. It's kind of a temptation to just hold it by the stem, but you'll regret it. You may not regret it on the first chili, but you'll regret it when it all falls apart, because it's the stem that is the lid that holds it all together. So you do want to fry it with the stem on. And by the way, you may be thinking or wondering, did she leave the seeds in? Because a lot of people think you should take the seeds and veins out. If you take the seeds and veins out, you'll regret it because you peel the chili all apart. So the seeds are always just in that top 1 inch of the chili. So if you don't want seeds, you just don't eat the top inch. So here we go. One of the benefits in using an electric deep fryer is that they are thermostatically controlled. And you can have temperatures all the way from like 300 all the way up to like over 400. We're going to be frying this on the maximum temperature. And also you can always watch the light. When the light is on, that means that the oil is not up to temperature. So we've just had this really hot, so I think it's okay to start frying. And another hint that I'd like to pass on is just dip in the chili at right angles. Just sort of push it down at right angles and then just let it fly over. And here we'll just, the hot oil will probably hold about 3 chilies, so let's put 3 of them in there. And when it kind of talks to you when you first put them in, that's because the moisture is just kind of frying out. So again, we're putting this in at right angles and not holding it by the stem. And always make sure you get it very, very uniformly coated. If you don't get it uniformly coated, what happens is the fat will make the cheeses kind of bubble out, and then you don't have any cheese inside the chili, so you eat this kind of hollow disappointment. And again, just at right angles. Now, another thing that's really good to know is the best kind of oil for frying. You should really use a corn or a soy-based oil, I think. And to turn them, I like to use a tongs. And they don't have to get like super, super brown, just a little bit golden. And a really good thing to know, beyond the fact that these taste great, and I think they look good, is that if there's ever any left over, which is kind of rarity, but should there be any left over, they freeze. You can reheat them. You can slice them in 1 inch or 1.5 inch segments. And you know what I like to do? I like to put some red sauce, like I like to serve them with, on a platter, and then just serve little 1 inch bites, maybe with a skewer stuck in them. I think the first ones are done. Oh, they're nice and golden. Just look at these. So all we need to do now is just drain them. So I like to drain them on absorbent paper toweling. And we'll just get these drained. And now, I can't wait to show you my very favorite way to garnish them. I like to use that red chili sauce. It's like a red chili enchilada sauce that you make yourself, and it's made with just your pure red New Mexico chilies, which are the ripe green ones. And so I'll just place these chili rellenos. I've already previously started arranging the platter. And we'll just place these around, sort of like a wagon wheel. And if you really like a milder sauce, you could use a chicken stock-based sauce with some chilies in it, or you could use a ranchero sauce. These happen to be fairly mild chilies, so you might want to use sort of a spicy sauce to pep it up for those who want it really spicy. And those who don't wish it to be so spicy, they can use little or no sauce. So I like to use the tomato wedges, and these are wonderfully red ripe because they've just been picked, it looks like. And now we just want to place ladle in the sauce, and we're ready to serve.